Your $200,000 luxury motorhome is built with components that cost less than $15 at a Chinese wholesale factory. The manufacturer paid $8 for the water pump that failed after 2,000 miles. They paid $12 for the circuit breaker that melted and nearly burned your family alive. They paid $6 for the window latch that broke the first time you tried to close it. And they charged you $250,000 for a machine held together with the cheapest parts money can buy. This is not about being anti-import or nationalist. This is about manufacturers deliberately sourcing the lowest grade components available on Earth and selling them to you wrapped in premium branding. We are going to expose the specific Chinese parts suppliers flooding the recreational vehicle industry, show you which critical systems are most likely to fail, and teach you how to identify the garbage before it destroys your investment. The Chinese parts infiltration started in the mid-2000s when Thor Industries and Forest River realized they could slash production costs by replacing American and European components with Chinese alternatives. In 2005, a recreational vehicle manufacturer sourced water pumps from SureFlow in California, electrical components from Progressive Industries in Michigan, and appliances from Dometic in Sweden. These were premium components with engineering standards and quality control. By 2015, those same manufacturers had switched to suppliers you have never heard of. C-Flow pumps from Xiamen, Iota converters from Guangzhou, generic LED fixtures from Shenzhen. These components look identical to the premium versions, but they fail at 5 times the rate because they are built to a price point, not a quality standard. The deception works because recreational vehicle buyers do not know what they are looking at. When you walk through a $180,000 Class A motorhome, you see stainless steel appliances, leather furniture, and high-end finishes. You assume the components behind the walls match the quality of what you can see. Wrong. The manufacturer spent money on the cosmetic features that sell units on the showroom floor, and they saved money on every component you cannot see until it fails. The water pump hidden under the floor is Chinese. The converter buried in a cabinet is Chinese. The window hardware covered by trim is Chinese. You are paying for German engineering and getting Alibaba wholesale pricing. The failure pattern is predictable and devastating. Chinese components in recreational vehicles fail within the first 18 to 24 months, which conveniently falls just outside most factory warranties. This is not accidental. The manufacturers know the failure rates. They have the warranty claim data. They know these parts will not last, but they also know the warranty period will expire before the majority of failures occur. When your water pump fails in month 26, you pay for the replacement. When your converter burns out in month 30, you pay for the repair. The manufacturer saved $40 per unit by using Chinese parts, and you pay $800 to replace them after the warranty expires. The water pump is the most common Chinese component failure. The SureFlow pump that cost manufacturers $65 has been replaced in most new units with a C-Flow pump that cost $8 wholesale. The C-Flow uses plastic impellers instead of rubber, thinner housing walls, and internal seals made from recycled materials. Under normal use, the plastic impellers warp from heat and the pump loses pressure. You will notice the water flow decreasing over time until the pump stops working entirely. The replacement process requires removing the underbelly access panel, disconnecting the plumbing, and installing a new pump. The labor costs $200 to $400 if you hire a mobile technician. Smart buyers replace the Chinese water pump the day they take delivery. You can buy a genuine SureFlow pump online for $85. The installation takes 45 minutes if you have basic tools. You are replacing a part that is guaranteed to fail with a part that is proven to last. But most buyers do not know they need to do this because the dealer never mentions that the factory-installed pump is disposable garbage. The dealer makes money when you come back for repairs. The electrical system is where Chinese components become dangerous. Recreational vehicles use a converter to transform 120-volt AC shore power into 12-volt DC for the batteries and interior systems. The premium converter is the Progressive Dynamics unit built in Michigan with proper heat dissipation, overcurrent protection, and thermal shutoffs. These converters cost manufacturers $180 to $220. The Chinese alternative from Iota or generic brands costs $35 to $50. The difference is not cosmetic. The Chinese converters use underrated components that cannot handle sustained load. When you run your furnace, your water heater, and your lights simultaneously, the converter overheats. The internal circuit board cracks. The voltage regulator fails, and in the worst cases, the converter catches fire. We have documented cases of Chinese converters melting their mounting brackets and igniting the surrounding wood framing. The owners were asleep when the fire started. They woke up to smoke alarms and evacuated with their children. The fire destroyed the unit. The insurance investigation determined the fire originated in the converter, but the manufacturer denied responsibility because the unit was 20 months old and out of warranty. The family lost everything, and the manufacturer replaced the converter in future production runs with a converter from a different Chinese supplier at the same price point. The window hardware is another failure point that reveals the depth of the cost cutting. Recreational vehicle windows use a compression latch system to seal the window against the frame. The premium latches are made by Hare or Kinro using die-cast zinc alloy. These latches cost $8 to $12 per window. The Chinese replacement latches cost $1.50 to $2.50, and they are made from injection molded plastic with zinc plating for appearance. Within 2 years, the plastic cracks from UV damage and the zinc plating flakes off. The latch no longer compresses the seal, which allows water intrusion around the window. The window latch failure is insidious because it does not present as an obvious defect. The latch still moves and looks functional, but it no longer creates the compression needed to seal the window. Water gets past the seal during rainstorms and runs down inside the wall cavity. You will not see the leak because the water is traveling behind the interior paneling. The first sign of the problem is often mold growth or soft spots in the wall near the window. At that point, the repair requires removing the window, replacing the framing, and reinstalling with new latches. The cost is $1,500 to $3,000 per window. The appliances are the most visible example of the Chinese parts infiltration. The refrigerator in your $150,000 motorhome is not a Dometic. It is a Chinese clone, branded with a name you do not recognize: Smita, Caravan, Nova Cool. These brands did not exist before 2010. They appeared when manufacturers realized they could buy absorption refrigerators from Chinese factories for $350 instead of paying $1,200 for a Dometic. The Chinese refrigerators look identical to the premium units, but the cooling unit is assembled with lower-grade tubing and cheaper refrigerant. The average lifespan of a Chinese RV refrigerator is 3 to 5 years compared to 10 to 15 years for a Dometic. When the Chinese refrigerator fails, the repair cost exceeds the replacement cost. The cooling unit cannot be rebuilt because the Chinese manufacturers do not sell replacement components. You have to replace the entire appliance. And because the Chinese units are not standard sizes, you cannot drop in a Dometic replacement without modifying the cabinet opening. You are forced to buy another Chinese unit and accept that it will fail again in 3 to 5 years. The LED lighting is another category where Chinese components dominate. The premium LED fixtures from Optronics or Trucklight cost $25 to $40 per fixture, and they are designed for vehicular use with proper vibration resistance. The Chinese fixtures cost $3 to $6, and they fail within 2 years from vibration damage or heat buildup. The driver circuit fails. You will notice the lights flickering or dimming over time until they stop working. Replacing the fixtures requires removing interior paneling to access the wiring, and most buyers end up paying a technician $400 to $600 to replace all the failed lights at once. The manufacturers justify the Chinese parts by claiming they are meeting aggressive price targets. They argue that buyers demand more features at lower prices, and the only way to deliver is by reducing component costs. This is corporate propaganda. The manufacturers are not passing the savings to buyers. A recreational vehicle that cost $60,000 in 2005 with American components cost $95,000 in 2026 with Chinese components. The price went up 58% while the quality went down. The manufacturers pocketed the difference. The protection strategy starts with education. You cannot avoid Chinese parts entirely because they are embedded in every modern recreational vehicle, but you can identify the critical systems and replace the garbage before it fails. Start with the water pump. Verify the brand during your pre-delivery inspection. If it is not SureFlow or FlowJet, plan to replace it immediately. The cost is $85 for the pump, plus 1 hour of your time. Compare that to $800 for an emergency service call when the pump fails on a holiday weekend in the middle of nowhere. Next, inspect the converter and the electrical panel. Open the converter compartment and photograph the label. Search the brand online to determine if it is a premium unit or a Chinese generic. If it is generic, budget $250 to upgrade to a Progressive Dynamics converter. This is not optional. This is life safety. The converter is the heart of your electrical system, and a failure can cause a fire. Third, examine every window latch. Press on the latch while the window is closed and check for flex or play in the mechanism. A quality zinc latch will be solid with no movement. A Chinese plastic latch will flex under pressure. If you find plastic latches, replace them immediately with hair or Kinro metal latches. The parts cost $10 per window, and the installation is simple. This upgrade prevents water intrusion that can cost thousands in wall repairs. Fourth, verify the brands on all major appliances. If you see unfamiliar names on the refrigerator, the water heater, or the air conditioner, research them before accepting delivery. A Chinese appliance is not a deal breaker if you understand the expected lifespan and budget for replacement, but you should not pay luxury pricing for a unit filled with discount appliances. Use the Chinese components as leverage to negotiate a lower purchase price or demand the dealer upgrade to premium appliances before delivery. The industry hates informed buyers because informed buyers do not accept the standard configuration. They ask questions. They demand upgrades. They refuse delivery until issues are resolved. This disrupts the dealer's sales process and reduces their profit margin. But the manufacturers and dealers created this adversarial relationship by prioritizing cost-cutting over customer satisfaction. They chose to fill luxury units with wholesale garbage, and now buyers must protect themselves through inspection and verification. The Chinese parts scandal proves that price is not an indicator of quality in the recreational vehicle market. A $200,000 motorhome is not built with $200,000 worth of components. It is built with $80,000 worth of materials, $15,000 worth of labor, and $105,000 worth of markup and profit. The manufacturers and dealers split that $105,000, and they do it by convincing buyers that the price reflects the quality. It does not. The price reflects what they can get away with charging in a consolidated market with limited competition. Your protection is knowledge, inspection, and the willingness to replace critical components before they fail.